on Trends today, condolence or criticism as former President Muhammadu Buhari passes away in London. APC sweeps Lagos local government polls. Critics cite poor turnouts and cynicism. Hello and welcome to another episode of Trends with LJE. I am your host, Muhammad Eneye Sule. You too can be a part of this conversation by following our social media handles and commenting on our platforms at LJE Nigeria. Joining me today are media experts and development strategists whom I shall be introducing after the break. Stay tuned.
Hello, this is Leadership Corp, Justice and Economic Advancement. Here at LJE, we offer education and empowerment, entrepreneurship and development skill, legal advocacy, promoting justice and equity, and job creation initiative. You can reach us on 0705 236 8821 or 0705 245 3714. Or you can visit our website at www.ljenigeria.org.
Welcome back from that short break. This is LJE Nigeria, where we dissect leadership, economic, and justice issues in Nigeria, Africa, and the globe. And joining me today are development strategist, Mr. Shedrach Oka. You're welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Mo.
And media expert, Dr. Uche. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let's jump right into today's topic. Condolence or criticism as the former president Muhammadu Buhari passed away in London. Buhari passed away in London on Sunday, July 13th at approximately 4:30 p.m. following a prolonged illness. However, his death has also triggered significant criticism on social media, with some commentators, including activist Sowore, pointing to a legacy marred by alleged repression, economic hardship, insecurity, and religious bigotry. Concerns have also been raised, particularly on social media, about the state of Nigeria's healthcare system, given that the former leader died overseas, sparking debates about political reliance on foreign medical care while domestic facilities remain underdeveloped. This is a very crucial issue. Condolence or criticism? The first question goes to you, Mr. Shedrach. The passing of the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, has ignited a national conversation, balancing condolence with sharp criticism of his legacy. How do you reconcile these contrasting perspectives in a leader's impact?
Thank you very much, Mohammed, for having me. Let me formally join Nigeria in the state of mourning for the passing of our former head of state and President Muhammadu Buhari. Condolences to his family, Katsina State, and to the APC family. To your question, how do I take this question? Threefold. First, his life, personal, as an individual, the family, and then as a leader in the nation. There is one thing I know that I'm happy about is the social media. You know, when you hide behind a phone, you can say anything you want to say the way it comes to your mind, not minding whose face, it hits. There is this popular, saying that live your life well so that when you die, men will not have to tell a lie at your graveside. There is one thing I don't like doing, giving tributes at the funeral. I don't just like it, except I have a personal relationship with that individual. The reason is because they will always tell you don't speak ill about the dead. For how long people, which means no matter what you think about the person, you just have to be nice on the person. And that is why you can see your punchline, criticism, or, this. Of course, life itself is a contradiction about the good and the bad side, depending on the perspective that people take you about. Muhammadu Buhari, a life well lived and well spent for himself. But for the nation, it's a different ball game. As a young man at 19, was a teenager when he joined the Nigerian army. In less than 16 years, he was appointed the chairman of NNPC. And of course, he also became the head of state in less than 23 years in service. About when he was about 42, he was the head of state. His reign did not last, and then he was taken out. But God gave him a second chance to make the impact. For me, I felt if General Buhari had not contested election as the president, and he died, I can tell you 98% of what you would have seen on social media is a commune, such as similar as was passed to the late Yaradua.
Yeah, exactly.
But we tested him, and he became the president. Of course, you know what Nigeria went through in his hand. In fact, they refer to him in some quarters as Pepe. Pepe. So these things are there. So as a man who came in, his first tenure as head of state in Nigeria, enforced discipline with his late vice, Idiago. A lot of people who went through held him for two symbols. One, discipline, and the second one was anti-corruption.
Yeah.
And so at the time that the PDP was kicked out, a lot of people had a lot of hopes, because two things Nigerians really need is fiscal discipline.
Exactly.
And then anti-corruption. So we felt his coming will be a symbol of a redefining moment for Nigeria.
Exactly.
But when he came, that wasn't the case. Yes, he was mad with illness immediately he came in. For me, I would say, yes, as a man, he has done well for himself. God gave him a chance through sheer determination. He contested 3 times, the 4th time he became the head of state. But what did he leave? The legacy that he left behind, we all know it is very glaring. It will not be the same thing. For those of us pouring in commune and condolences, the people in the South is remembering the dots, the circle, statement. How does he even call the 95.7%, who does not add up in mathematics? So apologies to him. So all of those things are legacies that he left behind. He left behind somewhat of a tribalist, of course, or we saw the critical infrastructure that he did in Niger, which he openly confessed that those people are dear to him. He valued them much more than most Nigerians would. So he referred to those people as his first cousins or whatever, that if Nigeria annoy him during retirement, he would just quietly go back to Niger and sleep. So that was why you see a lot of things that he did there. But today he's gone. But lessons for Nigerian leaders. When Sani Abacha died, people rejoiced everywhere. But I can tell you, anytime the name Yaradua pops up, Nigerians will always said the president we never had. People missed him. So it's all not together the same. People don't pretend about these things. So whatever life you live, this is the opportunity. Those who are alive. President Tinubu is the same age mate with this guy that just passed on. So you have an opportunity now. Look at what Nigerians are saying about this man that just died and correct your mistakes. Not that when you die, you want people to come and pretend and be nice to you. Nigeria will hide behind our phone. I will say the way we feel in our heart, apologies to nobody. So once again, to his wife and his children that he left behind, he did so much for you by giving you people the life that the rest of Nigerians will not have. Condolences to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shedrach. Over to you, Dr. Uche. Let's talk about the health system in Nigeria. Some critics have mentioned that for the president to actually leave the country is a symbol of a decadence in that regard. And many people have said that Nigeria is a burial ground for some of these people. What's your comment on that?
You see, thank you for asking me that question. I must start by saying in the first place that I have to join Nigerians in the mourning mood of the passing of our former president, President Muhammadu Buhari, who just passed on. And I know death is an inevitable end, what every person must taste. So our people used to say that when you carry a corpse that does not belong to you, it's as if when people carrying a corpse that does not belong to one, it's as if one is carrying a log of wood. So the family and the people so close to him, I know how they are feeling, and Nigeria at large. So coming to the question you just asked, if during his time as a president he left a good legacy or a very good health platform where persons with ailments could go and treat themselves, I think he wouldn't have had the opportunity of flying himself or people around him flying him outside the country to go and get the treatment. It's because he couldn't do what he's supposed to do. And that's the reason he left the shores of the country to be treated outside, and there he died. So it is a truth that is speaking for itself. We do not have a good health system where people can go and treat themselves in times of sickness, and that is what we just saw. Yeah, so he is a victim of what he has just done to the people. That calls for other leaders in the country. When you are given the opportunity to lead as if you are not going to lead tomorrow, because what you are doing today will turn around to be a merit or demerit to the person involved. Look at it. It sounds is demeaning. It sounds very poor that a country of such resources, humanly and naturally, we can't establish a good health system where an ordinary man can go, where people like him can go and treat themselves. Here it is. We have capital flight. People, our monies have been going out of the country each time we go for treatment abroad, including himself. Permit me to use the opportunity to say that President Muhammadu Buhari left the seat of the presidency 2 years ago. Less than 2 years or to 2 years again, he died. That means it's invariably somebody who has been too sick, somebody who has been sick, been at the helm of affairs of a country of this magnitude. Now he left, he died, he passed on after 2 years. It means that he has been sick. Count how many times he went out, he left the shores of this country in the name of treatment. So we have thrown so much resources in treating our president. 2 years behind it is no more. So just like my colleague said here, it calls for reflection, sober reflection. All the presidents leading us, all our leaders, should look into what happened to President Muhammad Buhari and make amends where necessary.
Thank you very much. The Lagos local government polls recorded a very amazing number of voters, especially for the APC, as APC sweeps 375 out of 376 councillorship positions, as announced by the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission, LASEC. The only exception to this dominant sweep was a single councillorship seat won by the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Odi, Yaba. Despite over 7 million registered voters in the state, the election saw a notably low turnout. Many residents and observers attributed this widespread apathy to a lack of faith in the local electoral process. Question straight to you, Mr. Shedrach. The APC landslide victory in Lagos polls, juxtaposed with a very low amount of turnout, raises questions about the true mandates derived from such elections. What does this outcome suggest about the current state of local democracy in Lagos?
Well, it is the microscopic picture that will be, seen with the general elections. The appetite in voters' appetite and low turnout is a vote of no confidence on the system, actually. It is not just peculiar to Lagos State, where you have PDP state, they sweep 99% of all the vote. Where you have APC, they do the same. One thing is very, very, very sure, and it's a mockery to our democracy. You cannot have a state where an opposition, where the governor, for instance, is APC, and you have a senator is PDP, House of Rep PDP, and you have some state assembly member of the opposition party, and you conduct a local government election, and you don't see a reflection of that. It doesn't add up. It does not add up. It means that where you have, for instance, we have an APC president, in some states you have purely PDP structure, but in some federal constituencies you have the opposition in that place. It means those people held their ground. So it is not possible that you conduct a local government election and you will see the margin 99 to 1%. It does not add up mathematically. It just shows impunity in the system. It just shows that the election is a sham. In fact, in the current Lagos State, I got a complaint from a particular local government, one political party candidate, who complained bitterly that even the coalition center, they didn't even disclose it to them at the local government level. They didn't know where to go and even monitor your vote until that minute before where they started making calls. Lack of transparency and all of those things mar our system. It's the same Lagos State, the last general election that we saw. The state INEC officer in charge of Lagos State, they were accused. And of course, they're packing people's voters' card, flinging and all of those things. Those things does not restore confidence in the system, and it's making us a laughingstock in the Committee of Nations. So far, electoral reforms are ongoing, for which one of the striking point is for local government elections to be taken over by INEC here in Abuja. But it all's the same, because it means that the people at the center will still control it just as it is now. I think what is an indictment to us as a people, we must sanitize ourselves and then hold offices with integrity. People who are office holder should be people who are reputable, have undoubtable integrity, so that at the end of the day, when things like this are conducted, we'll be able to close our eyes and clap our hand and say kudos to the system. But so far, there is lack of confidence by the voters.
Thank you very much. That question goes straight now to you, Doctor. How can INEC restore the confidence of Nigerians, especially young Nigerians? And looking at media, we understand that various youths want to partake in the voting process, but from this result, it showed that some people already gave up on the process. How can they get their noses in front? How can they actually partake in this election? What does INEC need to do to restore back the voters?
Okay, firstly, I will say that INEC is not doing constitutionally what it was established for. INEC is becoming partisan. INEC is becoming a political party on its own. INEC at the same time is becoming politicians as well. So by this reason, I would advise INEC to stay clear of everything that has to do with selection of candidates, as INEC should avoid themselves being involved in anything that has to do with partisan politics. INEC also should make sure, if elections are conducted, election results should be in tandem with the voters' interest, as in the number of voters should be exactly pronounced to the public, not being part of the influence negatively in the results of voters. Also, NITEC should be on the crusade of doing what is expected of them, that's voters' education. Many persons don't know what it is, or that it is their responsibility to vote. Another thing I will advise is that because INEC is involved, INEC as well is discouraging people that wants to vote. So just like my colleague said earlier, people are wise these days. No person wants to waste his time when he knows that it will not reflect to the result. So INEC, I would advise them, INEC should stay clear of anything that has to do with politics when it comes to election. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. We've come to the end of this episode. Up next is Justice. Don't forget, you too can be a part of this conversation by following our social media platforms at LJE Nigeria on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Once again, thank you very much, Mr. Shedrach Oka, for joining us today, and Dr. Uche for being part of the program's success.
Thank you for having me.
And over to you. Thank you very much for joining us today.